Another episode of Beyond the Beef, where we not only talk about everyday problems, we talk about everyday solutions. Sometimes
but not
we try.
Often enough. We try. We tend to just kind of complain, talk about stuff.
Yeah, and then at the end say, "Don't do that anymore."
Yeah, we try to solve the world's problems. It just doesn't always work. You know what I mean?
Well, it's clearly never working because we've only been doing it for
If I could just change one person, Bob.
Right. Well, in fact, we're still just changing 8.
Yeah. Maybe they're watching. It doesn't mean they're changing. Doesn't mean we're convincing.
We're not convincing anybody. We really need to do something, man, because I don't know what it is. I really don't. Yeah. I mean, I know we said we are going to chop it up a little bit, and I've got that on my list. But even that, I mean, I see shows longer than us that get, lots and lots of views. Our shorts tend to do pretty well, sometimes better. Yeah,
better.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but man, it frustrates me because I love doing this and I love the episodes.
Yeah.
But I don't love the fact that literally nobody. Yeah, we're talking to ourselves.
We're talking to ourselves, and my wife, and your wife,
and my wife, my mom.
That's about it. Your mom. Yeah.
Oh, how's your mom?
She's doing well.
She's doing
Thank
all right?
you for asking. Yeah. It's been a tough little road and the whole 9 trying to get 24-hour care. So I've been staying over there, and
there's
the brothers and I have been dividing and conquering, but it's
dividing. And I don't know.
Well, because we got to do overnight.
Is that a positive divide?
Yeah, no. This is a
not
good
like
thing.
An emotional divide. Oh,
no,
okay.
This is like where we're taking turns on staying overnight with her and stuff like that because it takes time to get somebody 24/7, right? Who's going to stay overnight, and it is good quality, and is it good, can the person communicate with her? They don't pay like you go to the agencies, and you're paying $32 an hour for somebody to stay with your mother, and if they're hired through an agency, they get half of that. So what are they get minimum wage to take care of someone with Alzheimer's? I'm going to pay for that too. Yeah. A human, yeah, exactly.
We pay more to kennel workers, literally, right?
That's true.
But we do.
That is a good point.
The reason I was thinking
sad
about
point, but good point.
It's a sad point, but I was thinking about this because I have family come for Thanksgiving and so forth. My brother has a dog, and my brother has to find a place to put the dog, right? Because I'm not a dog house, as we all have established.
I definitely know that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so he has to get a kennel, and so he's looking around our area for some. He finds one, and I'm like, hey, I should probably check this out. Just make sure it's a good place and everything. I'm telling you, every single doggy place, beautiful. It's like a hotel.
Oh yeah,
right?
They got video cameras now and those things. You can check in your dog and see how they're doing. Oh, they got it all.
It's almost like silly to have to ask, right? And then I look at the daycare place, and there are some that are like you wouldn't put your cat.
You wouldn't put your cat in there. Forget about
that's
dogs.
Why they look like that, right? And I'm thinking, like, we literally do treat our pets better than our kids. Here's another one, like the food we you wouldn't dare feed your dog like a grape or chocolate or this or dog food is the only thing because it's got filled with nutrition and things. But look what we feed our kids.
I know.
Steady diet of processed crap.
Right. Not reading the ingredients, not understanding what half of them are. You know what? It tastes good. Go ahead and take it. Take it to the dome.
During Christmas time, when my sister-in-law comes up, she's got a dog too. She brings the dog up, puts it in doggy daycare. Beautiful place again. Like I want to stay there. Actually, my house is filled with people that I like. I'm like, can I go stay in the kennel? Anyway.
Give me a break. Let me get a little holiday. I'll go stay there. Yeah.
But anyway, so we come and then we go to like doggy shops. And of course, we have, they literally, you've probably seen these organic dog shops, So you go in, that's the holiday time. Kids are walking in with like lollipops and this garbage, and the families are buying the dogs literally homemade organic brand
in the fridge right next to the cash register. Like you've got to get the real good, real meat, and they're licking on lollipops.
They're licking on lollipops and Skittles, and this is what they're eating currently as they're spending. I can't tell you how much on home baked cookies for the dog. We've got something is all right. Anyway, I didn't mean to divert from your mom, but it's kind of like this, right? Like
it is
human care. And while we're at it, end of life. It might be a little too close to home, right?
But it's got real heavy.
No. I'm not saying, but end of life for humans. Let's talk about me. End of life for Bob. Like, I know this is very close to home. It may seem extremely insensitive, but I've been through it. We all have to go through it.
Okay.
Aren't we cruel a little bit to humans? Like, we're cruel to humans, aren't we?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me.
Yeah, maybe this is the wrong topic.
I'll just tell you, this is it's fine.
Really,
it's not tough. Like I'm gonna break down, but I would, because there's the topic I want to talk about. Yeah. But I will talk about this, what you're saying right now, briefly. It's a tough one because literally just last night, my wife and I had a conversation around, especially Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah.
Alzheimer's is a disease where, you lose your memory, right? But you lose your near term, you lose your memory of people that are close to you, where you live. You think, and as things progress, it gets worse and worse, where you forget more and more. And then over time, you get to the point where you don't think you're living in your own home. You feel all stressed constantly. You have anxiety and stress and depression and all of these things. Meanwhile, in the end, you really don't recognize the people that are coming in and that you should know, and your sons and your husbands and your wives and whoever they may be. And it is torture. It is, quite honestly, torture. If you ask me, the worst disease a human can get, from the aspect of my mother, for example. Her body is perfect. She is healthy. Yeah. She is in great shape, except for her brain, right? So,
which means she's not her
these
anymore,
things
right?
go. She's not her anymore, right? So she does know who I am still, but just as recently as a few days ago, she was like, "We got to go home. I'm distressed. Like, when are we going to go home? When are we going to leave?" And I'm sitting in her family room that she's lived in for 47 years. It wasn't like she just moved, right? And so the question really becomes like, and by the way, my mother has this, my grandmother had this as well. And she wound up living, 8-9 years with it, and in the end passing away in her 90s. And my mother's in her early 80s. So the question is, what happens for me if I have this? It's hereditary, right? Yeah. And so what do I want to put my wife through? Yeah. What do I want to do, right? What are the decisions or the options? Because I don't want to be that burden. I don't want to hurt her like that, or my kids like that, or people like that. What's the value of life at that point in time if the loved ones that I've had that I'm hurting because I don't know who they are, I don't know where I'm living, or I don't know what's going on?
And what kind of life do you have anyway? This is and you know what? I'll even take it away, because I know how unbelievably insensitive that segue was, and it wasn't really meant at your mother, because I don't know the situation that she's in, but I know it's close to home. But let's talk about somebody like that's got terminal cancer, right? Mm-hmm. And they are clearly dying, and at the end of their life, what do? They are in tremendous pain. We put them in hospice. And we prolong that painful, horrible end of their life. My point is that if they were a cat and we took them to a vet, what would the vet say?
Put it down.
Put it down. And if you didn't put it down, what would you be?
You'd be cruel to your animal.
This is all I'm saying. Like, is that, why is it, and why is that seems and weird to me,
it's a touchy one, right? It's a touchy one. Obviously, as a point in time, it becomes about the living not wanting to let go of the loved one, right?
I think that's it.
It is a tighter connection, and it is hard. And listen, again, you're talking to someone who, my father was one of the first to pass away from COVID. But the reason why he passed away more quickly is because he had a DNR, and under his DNR says, do not put on a ventilator. So my father passed away from it, right? So he wasn't put on a ventilator and all those sort of things. And so, that whole nother story about that. But, there are things that can be done, right? Hospice, for example, can, and oftentimes, at least what I've seen, it's an ease the pain. So there's a morphine, there's a thing, ease the pain for the person and let them pass, because legally we can't do anything else. But we also want to ease the pain for them. So there is a little bit of that as well. But yes, it does become more about sort of the living and the people that are, that don't want to let the person go.
Why can't we? I mean, I know we can't. I'm not condoning that we do, but this is the philosophical question. Why can't we? Why we love our pets, we love our animals, and we say, hey, when they are going to be in that stage of their life and in pain and everything else, and as hard as it is, we don't want to put them through that. We don't want them to suffer. So we allow that to be the option, right? But with humans, we don't even allow that to be the option, even if the human wants it, right? Like you said, we don't allow it to be the option. And it seems, I mean, I've been through it with grandparents, my father, and it's my in-laws both. It just seems weird to me. It seems cruel to me. And I know you're going through something right now, so it's
it's a great
emotionally
conversation,
probably
right?
the completely wrong time to bring this up. But listen, this is what happens on the show.
We just go. We just see where it goes.
But it's a weird thing, and we talk about it for ourselves. You're also, like, do you want to be in that situation? Do I want to be in that situation? No. I don't. Right? No. I don't.
But I don't want to be in that situation, no matter what it is. Right? Like you're talking to two people here that understand or feel like if their pet is ill or sick or they are feeling pain, that we probably would put them down for the sake of the pet. Again, a pet, we know that expectation is there of this many years and whatnot. But there are many people, again, we're talking amongst ourselves, that would not, right? They would try to keep because that connection is so tight.
That might be true, that might be true.
Right? So we're talking to people that would probably do that, but there's a lot of people that wouldn't.
They would say, we want it at all costs.
At all costs, right? And
which might be more the emotion you're talking about,
Yeah, it's hard, right? And humans obviously are different than a pet, right? We expect it with a pet. They are an animal. They're not, but it's a good topic of conversation because people need to think about it, right? Like, what are we doing? Are we doing the thing that's best for our loved one and whatnot along the way? Which, I mentioned a little while ago, right? It's hard emotionally and all that sort of stuff, right? You go through all this stuff. And, it brought up actually kind of an easy segue into one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, which is also a little heavy, but I'll chat a little bit about it. It's November. And in November, I don't know, I think you may remember. Do you remember back in the day, I used to grow this beautiful sort of mustache when I first started working?
I don't ever remember referring to it as beautiful, but but yes,
I used to wear a mustache, right, during the month of November. And so this is the month is supposed to be focused on mental health for men.
But
so
wait, before you go there,
and things of that nature.
I want to make sure that I remember this. You used to have no beard, and then you do this ridiculous porn stash, right? Then you went beard. So now this is like, I'm remembering this correctly, right?
You are remembering. Okay, I actually started mustache, and then I was like, you know what, let me do beard. And I failed this year because it's really supposed to be the month of November. You're supposed to start growing a mustache, raise money, and people are supposed to draw attention. Why are you growing that ugly mustache? Oh, because it's Movember, and it's for mental health for men to just bring awareness and stuff like that around mental health and prostate cancer, things like that. So
we by the way, poor men, we got to shove it all into 1 month, right? Like we can't separate prostate cancer and testicular cancer. We put it all together like November. In fact, maybe a month is too long. How about we just do like the week of November 7th?
That's great.
Everything that men deal with, we'll put it right in there.
And you wonder why we have so many mental problems that we don't want to talk about, right?
Everybody else gets their own months, their own weeks, their own, year. Like there's a month for everything.
Right, but exactly. Man is like, we got to go mental health, cancer. We got to go all these things all together. We give it November, and that's what we go.
And
we
don't even advertise it, and you still suck. But
hardly talk about it. Right, you get a couple of splashes here and there. People don't even know why they're doing it.
We don't get a color. We just get a porn stash.
We get a porn stash. We got to wear a porn stash. Right. Exactly.
It's not even like somebody does something money for us. It's like, hey, if you want awareness for men, you got to make your face ugly.
You got to wear it on your face. If you want, how badly do you want it? How badly do you want it?
And if you don't wear a porn stash, you must not be. Then you're not
committed. Then you're not committed, right?
We got problems.
It is. It's
societal problems.
It all just goes around in a big circle, right? And therefore, we are screwed up, right? So, and we don't want to talk about it.
No.
You know what I mean? Like I just wanted to bring it up again. It's part of also my shirt here. I got this. I was on platinum.
Mustache is king.
So, it says.
So in other words, you're saying that this is something that you support. I don't know.
But it is something that I support.
Sound heavy yet.
And no, that's not going to be heavy, really. It's just something I support, and I think more men need to talk about it and be more open about things. And I think it's led to some, issues in society and in the world and whatnot that men feel like they can't talk about mental issues and problems and struggles and things to that nature. They just can't, right? And it just kind of the reason
except me, who talks about it every single week. I mean, my mental health issues are. I would have a mustache that like the Lorax.
Yeah, but it's like that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I guess I wanted to bring it up because I had a story last night. I was talking to my wife, and she and we were just kind of reminiscing about something that happened a few weeks ago. And it was a good friend of mine, right? One of my really good friends, and he was having issues, emotional stuff going on, right? X, Y, and Z. And he didn't want to mention it to me. I didn't know anything about it. But when I wasn't around, whatever, talked to my wife about it. They had a little bit of a breakdown, whatever. And I come back and he's like, no, everything's good. Everything's fine. And I look at it and I go, oh, okay. So leave. And at the end of the night, I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's going on with him? I'm not going to bring up his name or anything. And she told me and whatnot. And I wonder why that is that men don't feel like they can talk to each other sometimes around these emotional things that are struggles, that are challenges, whether it's an anxiety, a stress, a fear, any of those things. I know there's this ridiculous masculinity thing that goes on out there, like, oh, maybe I'm not as tough, or maybe you'll do this or that. I just don't get it. And I just wanted to get your perspective on it a little bit because I see it and it happens. And listen, I'm not that way.
Maybe you are.
Maybe I am.
Yeah. Like for example, we're open books, right? So we talk about all this stuff on the show and everything you say. But the truth is the stuff we're talking about is bothering us, but we're making light of it. We're making it sarcastic. We're joking about it. Right? But okay, let's say if you had a real problem, like you were breaking down, which happens.
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
Would you come to someone like me and say, and break down and say, I got this problem I need help with?
I don't think I have transparently. I don't think I have a male friend that I would confide in that way.
That's the point.
I think that's I guess you're right. Right. Like from that big of a piece.
But I think it's because we are like wired to not show weakness. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like an animal? I'm not even talking about anything other than animal instincts, right? The animal kingdom.
Sure.
I think the male of the species is supposed to take a certain position of strength in their heads, whether that's, true in our society or not. But I think that's kind of the way we're wired is like, but you have to be the strong one, right? You have to be the king of the mountain, whatever. And if you show weakness, then that goes kind of against your instinct. This is what I think. I don't know.
I mean, therein lies the problem, though, right? Because listen, in my scenario, and I'm lucky to have a wonderful, wonderful wife that I can confide in things and talk with her. But we all know the male brain and the female brain are very different. So you can confide and you can hear things, whatever, but a lot of times you may not be getting what you need from like another dude that's going through a similar situation, that's feeling similar ways, that makes you feel like it's okay to feel this way. It's okay that these things sort of happen. I'll flat out say I go to therapy, right? So I use that as well as a way to kind of express myself and get some feedback or whatnot. But I do just question why, and maybe that answer is right? Why men don't, we don't feel like it's okay to talk about these things, with fellow men, like with your friends.
I think it's that.
But
here's the same question in a different way. Like that same thing that you wouldn't come to a male friend with, you'd go to your wife with, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And so would I. So I think it's that. I think it's that men are not wired to show weakness to other men, because then it takes their position of strength down somehow, right? And maybe that's like a survival instinct or whatever. I'm thinking.
Or we feel like females are more empathetic.
Well, they are. I'm sure. Yeah,
they are.
But I think it's both of those, right? Maybe like. Yeah. But even like when you just said I'm in therapy, I stopped myself because my first natural instinct was going to be to make fun of you, 100%. I know. On the show. But that's I think probably why you wouldn't come to me with it. Like that's exactly it.
If people didn't realize that I need therapy, then they're not watching the show long enough.
But what I should be feeling is, my friend is got stuff on his mind that he wants to talk about, my first instinct was, let's make some fun joke out of that. Well, and so, so maybe we're just screwy. I don't know. That's why we need the mustaches, I guess, because
maybe, right? Like, quite honestly, you know my life more than just about anybody else. So if you didn't know I was in therapy, then
I'm glad
with the amount of stuff that goes on in
knowing
my
your
crazy,
life, I'm glad
my
you're
crazy
in therapy,
circle.
Right? I would be in therapy too if I was. I should be in therapy. This is the real point. But and I'm going to get to that proof in just a second too. But this is a good topic, really, because
it's interesting, right?
I don't think that men feel, and we could say like, oh, society doesn't give us a place to that. Okay, everyone wants to blame, but I don't think that's it. I think it's that we just are not wired to do that, right, with other men.
I think part of it is societal, but I think I do think part of it is societal because of what you would have because of what you just would have said, right? Like the reaction that we have is what it is. But if a guy came to me, if one of my male friends came to me and talked to me about issues that they were having, I would feel good that they felt comfortable talking to me about it, and I would try to help, and we would talk through things, right? Like, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I wouldn't pass judgment and be like, "Oh, look at this wimp over here."
No, you
guy.
wouldn't.
I would talk to them, be like, "Oh, wow." Actually, I would say, "Wow, Charlie, you got to be bad if you're coming to me."
Yeah, right.
Like, holy cow, right?
Yeah.
So
and then you'd go and steal their girlfriend because they're too weak to. No.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'd flex and steal their girlfriend.
Oh man, I really felt bad.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing tomorrow night? This is why I think men do it, because it's like that's the way I think, again, animal instincts, right? But of course you would never do that. But it's interesting. It is an interesting topic. But like, give me not of you, but an example of what you think real mental health issue for a guy might look like. Because I don't think I know what. Tell me what you think.
Sure.
What would be an example? Not yours. An example, a generic example.
It could be anything, right? For me, it could be anything from a depressive state, right? So there could be truly depressed. Yeah. Anxieties in society and different things like that bring out different emotions too. So I think there's a lot more that goes on in society for the various reasons that we've talked about in the past, with the stresses and the pressures and the expectations and all these things that can create the depression, but it could also create a true anxiety, right? Not just, I'm a little anxious about stuff. A true anxiety that could lead to men or people, humans, feeling like their worth isn't there, or like they don't have the true connections, that they're alone, and all of those pieces that I feel like, expectations are very high, I feel, for all people, but for men especially, to position themselves and promote themselves and be that strength that needs to always be for everybody else, right? There's that piece that I feel we are supposed to be the strength and the rock and all of those pieces. And I pride myself in being that, if I'm being honest with you, of being able to be that strength and that rock. But sometimes you need a rock of your own, right?
Yeah, like, I am not that. I do not pride myself on being the rock for anybody.
And quite honestly, I use, and if we're going to, I'll bring it a little bit home, is like, I use my mom as my rock, right? Like that was,
I do too.
That's my thing.
Yeah, I do
and
too.
As my rock starts to crumble a little bit as time goes on, I'm in this situation that I know I brought a little close to home, but I'm in this situation to say, now where's my rock?
Where's
right?
my mommy?
Father a couple of years ago. My mom is going through this now. She's not who she used to be. And, there's the struggles. That's just real.
No, this is now you bring it home, because I do too. My mother is my sounding board. My mother is the person I talk to. I'll call her anytime I'm troubled or want to vent or want to whatever, right? Like, and when I was younger, I can tell you, I had a lot of anxiety about death, right? It's funny, as I got older, I get less anxious about it, even though I'm nearer to it, right? But when I was younger, I guess maybe it's like, I don't want to die before I do things or something. I don't know what it was, but
or it's just the weird.
I don't know, or maybe I've done it, or maybe I'm getting bored of life.
Yeah. Sure, I'm okay with it now, actually.
Right? You know what?
You mean I got to leave this?
Yeah. Nothing's panning out.
I'm good.
the way I planned. So, But I think it's more like then I was always, and believe me, if there was a disease I read about, I had
believe
it.
this with you. I believe this with you.
Mad cow disease. This was a big one with me.
Yeah.
Oh, when mad cow
Bird
was like,
flu,
I was like, oh, that's it. I've eaten the steak. I would not eat beef. Whatever. But anyway, I would get so crazed about things like that. Who would I call? My mommy, right? And I still do that to some extent, but with different things in my life now. But she is my rock. There's no doubt about it. And more than probably anybody else in my life, she's up there, right? But she doesn't like to admit that, by the way. So she probably just hated that statement. But
I love your mom. I wish I saw more. I wish she was around more often.
I'm not up there.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe your mom could be my rock then. Maybe,
buddy, she'd love to be your rock. But you got the thing with my mom is, she's got a lot of strong beliefs. You may not, know where I get it from, but oh boy,
I've met your mom.
If you don't share those beliefs,
you're out.
She ain't gonna be your rock.
You're out. You're either with me or you're against me. That's it, right?
A jagged rock, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll work out, but we can give it a shot.
No, I mean she's open-minded. I don't mean to imply that, but yeah, she definitely she has no tolerance for people that like just the sheeple, that whole mentality, and I kind of don't either. But I'm more than her. Anyway, the point is, I get it, and if my rock was kind of crumbling, I would be feeling the way you. And where do I go? I don't know.
That's just
it is a big thing, James. You're right.
Yeah. So when you ask about mental health, what do I mean? Those are all pieces
of it. I wanted to know because I can't even always relate to I know I have plenty of issues, right? But what are the ones you're talking about that you couldn't go to other guys with? Yeah. That's a good one. That's right. There are things I'd go to my mom, I would not go to other guys. Or even my wife sometimes.
Right?
Even my wife sometimes, yeah.
Just because of different perspectives, right? It's your mom, and whether it's because you feel like, I need some agreement. I need somebody I need somebody to view it my way a little bit and just kind of listen.
She's always going to be a fan.
She's always a fan. Yeah. She's that always support. She'll be there and whatnot.
Never a judgment, right?
Exactly.
Whereas with your spouse, even your spouse, who you have to still put up a front in some cases, right? Some type of little front.
Ways. Right.
Yeah, you got to be that strength again, right? Yeah. Whereas with your parent, you could be completely open and I have no airs at all.
Exactly.
Right? I get it, man. That is an important thing. Yeah. So all this to say, you have a beard. It is a little bushier than normal.
Yeah, I just don't shave
growing it out.
I just trim it a little bit, but I really just don't shave it for November. So it'll cut down in December. But I haven't touched this at all. So
I got it.
It's just just a little fuzzy. It's just my way of thinking about it and doing stuff. I have to get back to what I did in the past, because what I did in the past is I raised a lot of money. No, I raised a lot of money.
Oh, that. Yeah.
I wound up raising thousands of dollars.
Looking like Ron Jeremy, I don't think is a goal.
You do it for a month. It's a small sacrifice to look like a king of porn.
I got to get back to that.
No, it's not because of the... It's because of the cause. I know. I got it. Yeah. But I was a platinum member, actually. I was a platinum member. So I got this T-shirt. There's a little book.
Is that what that is?
This was a free T-shirt that I got when I was a platinum member. They sent me the Moustaches King shirt. There's a little grooming book. This little brown book right there is a grooming book. And they sent you a comb and a brush. They sent me this whole big plaque and stuff like that.
But also, I think beards and long trimmed, beards and beard care has become much more of a thing.
Oh, no doubt about it.
So maybe
no doubt about it.
That particular thing to do for that cause is not as standoutish as it was, right? Because now, I got a buddy of mine, man, this guy, he loves his beard and he's got all kinds of the care and the trimming kits. And it's like not quite a ZZ Top, but it's like very coiffed.
My buddy, I have a buddy that has the same thing. One of my best friends. And it's a big one. He goes and has it groomed and all sorts of stuff. He's actually at Adrian right now getting a tattoo. I just talked to him this morning.
He's a tattoo guy too.
He's a tattoo guy too.
Oh, you know what he did?
Your guy is too. Your beard guy is too.
He did just like you did. All of a sudden he comes. He's got this monster, artistic, beautiful tattoo. So yeah, he's similar to you. He really is. But anyway, maybe you should do that. Grow out the beard and not so much.
Greatest thing is, dude.
All right, I'm gonna follow up on a couple of quick things because this was good, man. I like this. This is a good change of pace. But I'm gonna get back to to a little craziness on my own end.
Let's do it.
We may as well talk about my own mental thing because it segues in. Okay, remember that?
Just say it.
Yeah, I do build things up, don't I? So let me tell you what it is. Yeah. So here's what it is, James. This is what it is. So at some point, I'll tell you about this mental thing that this is what I'm talking about.
Today, Junior.
All right. So, I do all this charity work. We talked about that last. So we did this big event, right?
Yep.
Filled up the food bins, everything else. And I play kind of a biggish role in that, right? I organize the logistics and then I'm on stage and I'm calling out the items.
Sure.
I won't say that, there's hundreds of us that, help, but I have a role. Mm-hmm. And, so people feel kind of comfortable giving me feedback because they see I'm kind of like the MC of it, whatever. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it went unbelievably well, right? Like I've been doing this a long time and it went unbelievably well. So at the end of it, somebody comes up and I'm on stage. There's a big stage in this arena, right? She comes up to the stage and says, do you mind if I offer a suggestion? I said, no, yeah, please. Said, I've been doing this for however many years, and this is the worst organized thing that I've ever seen, ever. And I
thank you. It's a good start. That's a way to kick it off.
I said, first of all, that's not a suggestion. Just so we get our definition straight. Mm-hmm. I said, that's just a critique, which you are entitled to. I said, but I'm literally on stage now.
How many people were there in this? Like how many people?
800 people.
Oh my goodness!
It's monstrous, right?
There was that. You said the word arena. That's not where my brain was. As like a small guy.
It's an amphitheater.
800 people. Oh, yeah, holy cow!
We get it. They donate. It's an amazing event.
Good for you.
But I'm on stage, right? That like it's just still finishing up. We got a lot of work to do. This is what she says to me, and I said, first of all, that's not a suggestion. I said, second of all, that's super demotivating right now. Like you have no idea the amount of work and time and effort that goes into this whole thing, and then you show up for a couple hours, which we really appreciate. But then you throw this on us. I mean,
did you say this to her?
No, all I said was it's really demotivating, right?
Gotcha.
And then, so I said, so what about it, right? Like I'm going to even engage. Well, there's just too many people. This was the complaint. There's too many people. I used to like it when there was less and we can, whatever. Now there's too many people, so it's hard to, and I'm like, so basically your complaint is nothing to do with the organization or the things we're doing. It's because you were uncomfortable. I'm thinking to myself, like, that's what charity is. I don't know if people understand what charity is. Like, you're supposed to give of yourself. You're supposed to sacrifice. It's not supposed to be comfortable, right? You're not paying to go to Walt Disney World. Like, you're helping people that literally have no food to eat, and you're worried about it being a little too crowded.
And you want less people. Which I'm guessing in turn would mean less donations, and in turn would be less success as an organization.
Less success
if you had less people. Yes,
that's right. Because you got to picture the way that this is done is that we have literally 1,200 bins, and we have 30 items that have to go into the bins, and we bring the items out and people put them into the bins. So we need a lot of people in all the rows to be filling the bins.
Sure.
And if you don't have enough, what happens is some people can't stay the whole time. They leave, and then you have rows that are empty that no one's filling the bins in. It's of course, I'm not going to sit there and explain all this to this person, but it just made me think about like, oh my goodness, here's a person that, first of all, they come to these things with this entitlement mentality. Like, my job is to make you comfortable. And so I couldn't even engage it. I was like, you know what? There's the owner of the charity. Talk to that person. And
how much are you making for this job, Bob?
It's absolutely zero. And James, when I tell you the hours that I put in, okay, everyone who comes and does the event, they're putting in, 4, 5, 6 hours.
Everybody's putting in hours amazing, of their own time, for sure.
But the people that organize the event are putting in hundreds of hours, completely volunteer, completely free, right?
The only words out of anyone's mouth should be thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So that happened. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the mental health part of it. So now I'm feeling down, right? I'm like feeling like, you feel demotivated. And I think to myself, do I really need the accolades, right? Like, am I doing this for the right reasons? Because I know that I'm doing it to help people, but I also do kind of like to get the accolades, right? I'm not going to lie. Like, I like people to get the thank you and the gratitude and this and that. Okay. So in the owner of the charity, there's like probably 3 or 4 of us that really, really, really help him organize this thing. And I'm one of the ones that do that, right? So after the event, he put Facebook posts for each of us, right? One for me, one for another guy, one for another guy.
Nice.
Saying, hey,
recognition,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And each Facebook, he's got a lot of followers, and each Facebook post is out there. And he did a really nice write-up of me and the other, let's say 3 or 4 other people, okay?
Nice.
And I was like, this is so nice, right? Like really nice. I felt really good. Here's where the problem comes in. This is where I'm not proud. So now I start looking at this post, and what's the thing that you start looking at is, go ahead.
How you look.
No. I'm past that.
How many likes you got? How many likes you got?
How many likes it gets. Okay, how many likes it gets.
Be one of those 2 things, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking at how many likes it gets. Oh, that's really nice. People liking it. And then people are commenting, oh, Bob's the best. I'm like, I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling bad that I'm feeling good because I'm like, this isn't what this should be about, right? And yet it is in my mind what it's about because like I'm getting something out of it. So then I see that the other people that he posted
getting more likes than you.
just a few more.
This is right.
And now I'm like, oh, do they not like me as much? And, like this, of course, it's ridiculous because it has nothing to do. Well, it might have something to do, but I think more has to do with the algorithms, right? Like who sees it, who doesn't see it, whatever else. But the fact that any of that was even in my head bothers me to no end because I'm like, is that why I'm doing it? Is there even a part of me that's why I'm doing it? And I don't want that part to exist. And so,
I think you're wrong.
I'm going wrong here.
I think you're wrong in this. And I think you're wrong in this because I think you're being too hard on yourself.
Well, probably.
When a soldier fights for this country and goes to battle and does all of these things and they come back and you say, thank you for your service to someone for the work that they've done, right? Which is what I do anytime I find a veteran or soldier or any person of that kind. That's not meant, they shouldn't feel bad that I thanked them. And what they're doing is they're thanking you by liking what they're saying thank you and saying, positive recognition for the work that you've done. Not that I'm comparing you to a soldier in battle, which is really just an analogy.
It's
because
a good analogy.
It's how I feel, right? And I know it's how you feel from our conversations that they were grateful and thankful for all that they do. But I don't say it for them to feel guilty for getting a thank you, right? And the same thing should go for you. People are saying thank you with a thumbs up. You did work. You gave to charity. You gave your time, which is the most valuable thing of all, your time, effort, and energy to do something that was selfless. But on the other side, we as humans need a little bit of positive recognition. Like we
right?
need that.
We do,
to
right?
Yeah, we need to feel good too. If 100 people came up and said what that woman said to you on stage, you'd question doing it again.
It would be tough, but I don't want to feel that way, right?
But that's normal, man. That is normal.
It's the problem.
That is normal, and you're going to find people like that are going to critique everything because they're a little tapped maybe, right? They don't see the big picture. They're looking inward only and not outward. Meanwhile, you're throwing outward out there saying, I want to help people. I want to do it. I don't want to do it for the recognition. I didn't need this guy to post something. I didn't send a 1,000 different, selfies of myself giving presents and posting them out there. I didn't need it, but it's good to get because you realize that people recognize the hard work that you're doing and that these things are taking place. And you know what else maybe happens? Other people do it, Bob. Other people see it. Other people get tied in. Other people then start giving donations and working hard and being people that will work in the same charity. And in the end of the day, it's just growing the population of people that'll help. So I think
I like that answer. And I'll tell you something else why I like the soldier analogy. I get it. I'm not trying to compare myself to someone going to war, but I think it's similar in that that's like a medal, right? Like no one's going to war or doing whatever they're doing to get the medal.
No.
But when they do something that's a good act, it's nice to get the medal because it shows that it's appreciated.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That helps a lot, man. See, you are a good counselor. You are. This is the therapy.
A lot of years of therapy, brother. A lot of years of therapy.
Now, but here, this is really good. You're good. Okay, so here's the other part of it, taking it away from me. So I thought about this outside of my own things, is saying, okay, I'm a 54-year-old grown ass adult with, granted, my own set of insecurities, right? And here I'm kind of feeling lousy if I'm not getting as many likes as two very good friends of mine, right? Can you imagine what a 14-year-old feels or a 15-year-old feels? I mean, we are so warped, right? That we put these kids out, they put them on Instagram, the ones that are the most beautiful and sexy and this and that and the other thing, they're getting all these accolades. And then the ones that aren't are not. And then they have a metric right in front of them that, you know, this one loves 2 million, has 2 million likes and I have 10. And I mean, the mental health issues that has to cause, and we've talked about it to some extent, but I don't know that I've ever like related to it. It's got to be enormous for young. I mean, you talk about, you know, 14, 15, but 18, 19-year-olds who would, anybody. It's got to be enormous.
It's got to be enormous. I mean, you know, I still have teenagers, right? And you know, over the years, it's like you wonder, you could be talking to any of them and they're in a good mood. They look at their phone and all of a sudden they're not, right? These mood swings are just drastic. And from an outsider, you wonder why, what's going on? When you think about it and talk about it in this context, something like that is going on, right? You weren't this person, you weren't included in this chain, or this person kicked you out of this group, this person didn't get enough likes, this person looks so much better than you, but you want to be better, and this person's traveling overseas and vacationing in Croatia or doing whatever they're doing, and there's this envy, there's this piece that you just feel like you're not enough, that you're never enough because you're seeing all of these things of what people want you to see.
You're seeing other people's highlight reels.
100%. And it creates more and more of this mental problem, right? I mean, we've never
because you're always feeling
like
less than. You're always feeling less than. But then I think also what really struck me, and I just never put together, is you also have a metric, right? In the form of likes. And it's like, that's got to be, oh man,
Bob, it's even worse than that. It really is. Like, I was made aware of this process that goes on like Snapchat, or with and basically, you know, strangers. They'll run into, you know, people will connect with strangers, and the male or female will tell them whether or not they're attractive. You're attractive or not attractive, and they'll just like that, boom, like that, right? And it's not like a swipe right, swipe left thing, because you're talking to the person. Nope, get out of here. You look like a troll. Like, they say nasty things to each other. Whoa. And nope, yes, no. They'll send pictures. Send me a picture. Oh, nope, you're ugly. And they'll literally just tell them. And if they think they're attractive, they'll start dating and they'll talk. And I'm like, how do you meet somebody, you know, an hour away from here? Virtually. Oh, because this, and this. And now I met this person that lives in New York. It's insane what we've done with this immediate gratification, and therefore this creating this sense of less than and anxiety and stress on everything. You can't get away from it. It's always with you. It's sad.
And you know what? It's the same thing we always talk about. We know it's bad. Somebody's making money off it. Somebody's making money off it. And that's all that matters, right? Is somebody's making money off it. And that just, man, oh man, it's
But you know, and I
crazy.
also got to say this, right? Like, and I ask this question all the time. I say these things and I rant like this, but my kids still have cell phones. They're still using them.
Mine too.
Still,
I won't put them on social media, though. Well, my daughter's now 18, so she can, I guess, start to do it. But I've said up until
she's never been on social media at all. No Instagram,
she doesn't
Snapchat,
have accounts.
Any of those
we
things.
gave her Facebook because you know what the darn schools did? Her groups, you know, like her
Facebook
chorus groups.
Yeah,
you have to be on Facebook to get the notification. Which to me, I literally want to. Oh, it's unbelievable that you would force a kid to get to be part of a school sponsored group, it's criminal. But
and Facebook
that's
has
the only
become the site for old people, by the way. Like Facebook
definitely,
is
and
like
the rule was you have to be friends with me and I have to be able to see what's going on. But no Instagram, no Snapchat, no TikTok.
Good for you.
None of that. I wasn't strong on the cell phone thing, but I was strong on those because of this.
That's good.
Because of this. Yeah. Now, does she have any less hard of a time? I don't know. Maybe that's a good question to ask. But anyway, I just thought this was something. Well, look, I tell you what, and we're out of time, but we turned this into Mental Health Month.
We did. That's
kind of interesting, man.
I like it. Yeah, it turned into that, didn't it?
Yeah, it turned into that, and I think that's a really good message and a really good episode. And I think one of the takeaways for us is that to this whole point, let's embrace our 8 viewers, right? Let's not worry about how many views and likes we get. Who cares? We get the message out there. If somebody's interested in hearing it, they're interested in hearing it. Right?
They know where it is. They can find us as long as we're out there and they're findable.
I don't care about being popular, James. I don't care about being loved.
I just want one person to understand. Yeah, I know you do. We all do. we all do. But I love you, bud.
I love you too.
You got me.
And if you ever have a problem, ever, you go to my mother.
I will. You send me her number real quick.
Right to my mother. I'll tell you the things that you should
just
not
give me a list of her views. Just give me a list of her views on things so that
once you pass that, she's amazing.
Yeah. As of right now, don't get me wrong. As of right now, I can talk to my mom. I just repeat it over and over and over again.
I'll be honest with you,
because she asked me the same questions, and I just keep talking about it. So
again, my mom may as well have Alzheimer's not because she has Alzheimer's, because I'm talking to myself. She always says it to me. She says it all the time. She goes, "When you're talking to me," she's unbelievable. She's like, "When you're talking to me, you're really talking to yourself. That's why I just let you talk." I'm like, "You're exactly right." And so maybe we'll just switch mothers and it'd be fine
for a little while. Why not?
It's okay. Yeah.
Why not?
Anyway, listen, we gotta laugh or we'll cry, right? That's all we got to do. So
that's right.
All right, everyone. Well, there you go. There's your Mental Health Month episode. And I don't know I guess we're probably not going to record next week because we got Thanksgiving and stuff. So
yeah, unless we decide where we're going to move it. Want to move it somewhere we can.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But I'm going to have a house full of people, so we may take a week off. You'll find out. But either way, thank you again for joining. And subscribe, do everything else, or don't.
Please do.
Again, we're secure enough that we don't need any of that.
We're good.
But please do.
We like it did. But it'd be beneficial.
It'd be really nice, And while you're doing all that, don't forget to see you back. How do I usually say this?
I don't know.
Don't forget to join us again. We'll see you back here.
Link,
link, subscribe, and we'll see you back here on another episode of
Beyond the Beef.
Thanks for joining, everyone.